Right, in this lesson we are going to be covering the customer language research. Now again, super important because this is what we're going to be grabbing here. This is a lot of what we're going to be using in our actual ads. And this is one of those documents like the previous one. We don't need to read too much, but this one we really need to kind of dive in and really understand who this customer is, and this is where we're going to get a ton of really valuable information. So this is what we're going to be pulling out. Who is this customer at their core? What's their deepest hopes and dreams, victories and failures that have shaped them? What outside forces do they believe have prevented their best life? Prejudices and biases they hold. What's their core relationships? Now their current market landscape. We want to know what they've already tried. What's their experience been? What do they like about those options? What do they dislike or complain about? Are there then any horror stories? We also want to find out, has someone tried solving their pain points in a very unique or unconventional way? What were the results? And we've got a ton of stuff here. Is there a belief that their pain point didn't exist historically or wasn't as severe? We've got a bunch of stuff here. And this is what we're going to pull out. We're going to pull 10 to 15 direct quotes, a belief system mapping, pain point hierarchy, and solution receptivity analysis, which is like what types of solutions do they naturally gravitate towards, what claims do they find credible, what versus suspicious, and what proof do they require to believe something actually works. And that's actually what it's going to pull out. Now, what I've done is you just put the same part in here. So I've got it's the age-defined firm and gel health and beauty niche. Target market is typically women above 30 who are experiencing sagging skin around the eyes. So again, we just do the exact same process. We pull this out. I'm going to go over to Gemini. I'm going to hit tools. I'm going to go deep research. We're going to hit yes. And it's just going to do the exact same process. So I'll probably pause this once we get going, and then we're going to have a little read through and see what we've got. And like I said, further on in the lessons, what we're going to do is we're going to put all of this into what I call our brief, which is like the main document that we use for writing copy. So I'm going to go ahead and start research there. That's going to go and do its job, and we'll come back and see what it's done for us. Right, so we have actually got this psychographic and customer language research done. As you can see, we've also got a ton of stuff in here, but what I've done is I've put it into a little Google Doc. What we're going to do is just kind of go through exactly some of the stuff that's in here. Now, this is one of those documents that you kind of really want to read through because you want to have an idea of all this stuff when you're actually going to come up with ideas, concepts and angles. So let's go for A. The past my prime, cognitive dissonance and loss of validation. For many women entering their third decade and beyond, the aging process is triggering a significant cognitive dissonance concerning their established identity. During childhood, adolescence and young adulthood, many received constant reinforcement, validation and the importance of being pretty. So here's good things. They are past their prime, have peaked already, and are now washed up, old, ugly, and worthless. Well, that's colourful language. Not sure that we'd use some of that in the ads, but we're understanding who this customer is at their core. So let's pull out some of the deep dive into the specific struggle, sagging and ptosis language. Ptosis? Aye. Emotional tax and identity crisis. The issue is not diffuse, it's highly localized, visible and deeply impersonal. Is experienced as a constant reminder that something in my face needs fixing. The terminology of fixing is paramount. So that's super important, because then what we can be like is fix this problem, fix those sagging eyes. Heaviness, sometimes internally described as lazy eyes. Customer vocabulary. Right, now we're getting my left eyelid is droopy and lazy, my eyelids feel heavy, it needs fixing, I look tired and washed up, trouble putting on makeup. That's a good one. That's a really good angle that we could pull out there. Strategic messaging, so it's giving us the daily struggle with liner and eyeshadow. That again, that's a really good one. Seeking a lasting non-invasive correction. What else have we got? A smoother, firmer canvas for effortless makeup application. So this seems to be like a really good angle, the makeup one. countering skepticism, resistance to traditional and high-risk solutions, the fear of the blade and the needle, right? So this is something that we can speak about. There's a lot of beauty stuff out there that we can actually go further into and do some more research when we're actually coming up with angles. But some like surgeries, there's a lot of like procedures that involve like micro needling and Botox and all of this stuff, and we can use that in our ads. Like, instead of Botox, try this, or I've tried Botox for 3 years and it didn't work as well as this cream, stuff like that. So we've got an absolute ton of stuff in here. So, and look at this, it's given us two different cohorts, women 30 to 35, younger segment, skincare savvy, they know more, this segment is, and then women 40, primarily focused on visible results and tend to trust the visual markers. But yeah, we've got a bunch of stuff in here. Now, what I would also suggest you do, so like I've said previously, I use Gemini for a lot of this, but what I suggest that you do, and I still do this with some brands, is I'll do the research on both ChatGPT and Claude, and when I go to this brief creation process, I'll throw all of the documents in there. So yeah, that is our customer language and psychographic research done. In the next lesson, we're going to be going over some competitor research.